What is going on, you guys? This is Tech HD coming at you with a brand new video, and I'm super excited to give you guys a first look at Tascam's new PortaCapture X8 handheld recorder. This is Tascam's latest recorder that offers a lot of features, like up to 192 kHz, 32-bit float recording, a 3.5-inch touch color display, a multi-track recording for applications like podcasting, music, voice, field recording, ASMR, and manual, and there's much more. I've been testing this recorder out for a few weeks now, and I have loved it. So we're gonna dive in, take a look at what it all comes with, talk about the specs and features, go in depth with the menu, do some audio tests, and then give you guys my overall thoughts. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention that this video is not sponsored by Tascam. They did send this out to me early to get my hands on it and to do a review video, but I am not being paid by Tascam. No money was exchanged during the process of this video, and Tascam doesn't get to see this video before it goes live. All of my thoughts and opinions are my own. So with that out of the way, let's dive right in. Now, taking a look at what it comes with, the white box isn't how you'll get your PortaCapture X8 recorder. This is a pre-release model, so they just sent it in a standard box. But we got the USB wall plug, a USB Type-C to Type-A cable, 4 AA batteries, the detachable left and right microphones, the Bluetooth adapter to control the recorder with your iOS or Android device. This is sold separately, and finally the X8 recorder itself. Taking a look at the X8, on the front we have the 3.5-inch color display, the stop and home button, the record button, the play and pause button, the wheel, and the mark button. On the left you have the 2 XLR ports, an external in port, a line out port, a headphone port, and a volume wheel to control the built-in speaker or headphone. On the right side you have the USB Type-C port, the micro SD card slot, the on and off switch that also acts as a hold switch, and the other 2 XLR ports. On the top you have the 2 3.5mm TRS ports for the included mics or other mics that are compatible with plug-in power. On the bottom there is a peak indicator light, a slot for the Bluetooth adapter, a mono speaker, and the record indicator light. And finally, on the back there is an accessory cold shoe mount, a 1/4-inch thread for a tripod or mic stand, and the battery compartment. At first glance, this is a pretty big recorder, and you can see how it compares with my iPhone 12 phone. The build is mainly hard plastic but still feels durable, and I love the color touch display. You can also control the X8 with your iOS and Android device if you purchase the Bluetooth adapter, and you just need to download the app, have it connected to the recorder, and then the whole user interface is on your phone. One thing I will mention is that this works great for changing the settings and going through the interface, but when you start to record, it becomes very laggy and unresponsive and also delayed, so that is something that Tascam needs to fix. This is still in beta, so hopefully it'll be fixed when you guys get your hands on it. Alright you guys, so now what I want to do is give you guys a walkthrough of the actual user interface, and I will try my best to simplify it as much as I can, but there is a lot of information when it comes to this, so I will try my best, and I'm going to have a timeline down in the description below so that you guys can skim through on certain things that you really care about, and I'll try to organize that timeline as well. So to start out, this is how the home menu will be like. It is like an app-like functionality. We're going to start out with the general settings. We have the recording settings, the I/O settings, camera settings, other settings, system, and power and display. So in the recording settings, that is where you are able to change your file format. We have the WAV and MP3 functionality. WAV is the best. We have the sample, so we're able to go from 44.1 kHz all the way to 192 kHz. So that is the best. And then we have the bit depth and bit rate. So we got 16-bit, 24-bit, and 32-bit float recording. That is the best, so I highly recommend using that. So I highly recommend using 192 kHz and 32-bit float. We have the record pause functionality, so we have the ability to not only stop the recording, but we could pause it midway and then continue where we left off. We have the auto recording functionality, so once it starts to hear the levels be at around -6, that's when it'll start recording, and then once it reaches around -24 decibel levels, that's when it'll stop recording, and then you can add a delay if you want to, and you can have the end mode be the same file or a new file, and then you can of course change the delays time from 1 second all the way to 5 seconds. You could and change the end levels going from off to -6 all the way to -48 decibel levels. And then same thing when it comes to the start level, same settings. And then we got dual recording, so we can do a dual recording of MP3 or float, which is really good. We have the pre-recording, and then we have a time file increment, so we can do anywhere from 5 minutes all the way to 60 minutes. And then going to the I/O settings, that is where we have the phantom power capability, so we are able to enable up to 48 phantom power, which is what most of the microphones take, but some of them do take plus 24 volts as well. So then we also got the mic trim. This is really beneficial. So if you have the microphones of the left and right stereo angled in a different way, and for some reason it's picking up the audio more on the left or on the right side, you are able to do a mic level mic trim. So we can have the left one have a, let's say for example, the left microphone is picking up a lot more than the right one, and so it doesn't sound even. We could bring this down to like -3 decibel level, and we could raise the right one to be like +2 decibel level to make it more balanced. And then of course you can monitor to make sure that everything is sounding correct, which is really good. So you don't have to have the recorder directly angled at the it doesn't have to be angled directly at a subject or anything like that. It can be off to the side, and then you can mess with the mic trim if you are using the built-in microphones, which is really cool. We have the speaker, and then we have MSD code. This is beneficial when you have mid-side microphones, so you can just enable that and you could customize which track you want it to be, either 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And then of course you have the reverb functionality. So keep in mind though that this is grayed out. I can't enable it because I am at 192 kilohertz. You are only allowed to use reverb functionality when you are at 48 kilohertz. So that was one thing that I did not know about, and I had to look into the manual. Then we have the type. We could do a large hall, small hall, room, studio, plate 1, plate 2, and we'll get more into that when we get into the music mode. And then we have the source. We got track 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, and we could do a mix as well. And then we could change the levels as well. And then we got the camera settings. So here we are able to change the output. We could go from line or camera, and then on the camera you could go from -12 decibel level all the way to about -30 decibel level, which is really nice. And then we have the auto tone, so we can have it be off, head or tail. Head meaning that it could start in the beginning. Head and tail means it does beginning as well as in the end, which is really good. And then you could change that decibel level as well, be -12, 18, 24, 30, and 36. So this will be really good when it comes to syncing. I usually do head and tail, and I do about -18 as well. And then we got other settings. We could do a peak mark, so it will start to trigger when it'll start to do a mark whenever it detects peaking functionality. It could do an auto mark as well, and you could set it to be either a level or a time frame. So with the level, you can have it mark you can have it make it do a mark whenever it detects a -12 decibel level, having it exceed that, or you could change it to be -6, 24, and 48. Or you could change it to be a time functionality, so you can have it create a mark every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes as well. So that's really good if you want to organize everything, and if you are changing topics and stuff like that, which is really cool. You got an SD card reader, so you could have this actually be an SD card reader when you plug it into your computer, which is really beneficial. So we're going to connect that, disconnect that, and then we have the Bluetooth functionality as well. Let me go back into the other settings. We have the Bluetooth functionality, so whenever you have the Bluetooth connected on the bottom, you are able to enable that and then load up the application on your iOS device or Android device, and you're able to see the whole layout as well. And then we got system, of course. We got the information, so you can see the total files, you can see the folder, the size, the used, the amount of size, the remaining, and then you can see the system. This is where you see your firmware and hardware versions as well, to make sure that you are up to date. You got XRI, so this is extended recording information. This will tell you more in-depth information of like the levels that you were recording at and some of the other features, which is really cool. You got the date and time, of course. You got the file name. You could change that to be a word, and then you can edit the word as well, so you can be much more organized. You can do initialize, you can change the language, and you got a media format, so I can do a quick format or erase format as well. And then that is about it. Then the power display, just basic automatic power save. You got the automatic power source, whether it's battery and the type of battery as well. You can change it to alkaline, lithium, and then the other one. And then we got the power save mode. You can have the backlight always be on, or after 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 15, 30, you can have it conserve a lot more battery, which is really good. But I usually like to have it at the best settings, so highest brightness, all that, whenever you're out and about, so I can make sure that I see the whole display. And then you can change your contrast as well. So now we're going to be taking a look at each of the applications and see what they offer specifically, and then you have a brief description of what this is. So this is the manual functionality. You were able to record up to 6 input channels and then adjust each channel's parameters and mix your recordings. So once we load that up, we'll start to see that we have this basic layout. We got the home, mixer, and input, and then we got the 3 lines on the top. Here you are able to change go into your general settings like we saw before, as well as we are able to do the input select, so we can have track 1 and 2, and we could change it as well. I like this diagram that shows you, so I can have track 1 and 2 be for input 3 and 4, and then I can have track 3 and 4 be for input 5 and 6, and not have anything be on 5 and 6. And then I could just disable them as well like that. So we're gonna go put this back to the regular ones. We're gonna go back, and then you can see in the home settings how the levels are. You can see mic left and right. You can see that the master is recording at stereo as of right now. You can see all the other channels as well. If I have microphones hooked up to it, you were able to see the levels. If we go into the mixer settings, this is when we're able to go more in depth. We're able to mess with the faders. Since this is in stereo, I'm able to set the left channel be more on the left side. I can have the pan be more on the left or on the right side. I can do the same thing on this one as well. And let's see if I could mess with this. So yeah, I can have it be left or right, and then we're gonna move this back to the right. And in the masters, I'm able to change the master volume, or I can make it a mono as well. So if you're just recording yourself, you don't want any stereo functionality, you can have it be a mono, but we're gonna keep it in stereo. And then here we're able to mess with the faders as well as how much volume. You could do it by your hand, by the touchscreen, or you could do it individually with the wheel, which is really cool. And then we are able to go into the input setting, and then here you were able to go a lot more in depth when it comes to the microphone. So let's say, for example, I had a microphone connected to input number 3. I hit this microphone functionality, and then here is where I'm able to change the input to mic or line. I'm able to enable phantom power or not. I'm able to do auto gain if I want to, or I could change the gain manually here. I could put the input gain to low or high. So at high, I can have it be all the way up to 57 decibel levels. At low, I can have it be up to 35 decibel levels. And then here, since we have it set to 192 kilohertz, I'm not able to add any of the EQs. So let me go back and let me go into the home. And then I'm able to do the recording settings over here. And then that is where I'm able to change back to 96 kilohertz. And then now, if we go back to the third one, that is where I'm able to enable the low cut filter. So I'm able to add a low cut filter, go all the way from 40, 80, 120, 220 hertz. I'm able to add a noise gate. I could do low, mid, high. I could do a limiter or a compressor, which is really good. And then I have EQ functionality, so whether it's my voice, guitar, loud, vocals, manual. In the manual, you're able to change your low, mid, and your highs as well, and the frequencies and all that, which is really cool. And then you can do a phase invert as well. So keep in mind though that when you have it set to 192 kilohertz, you are not able to mess with any of those EQ functionalities at all. So sometimes 192 kilohertz is beneficial. Sometimes there's some disadvantages. So there are pros and cons when it comes to that. So that is what I could do. And over here, I could go to channel 4, 5, and 6 as well. And I could also mess with my left and right functionality. I can have my left and right be a stereo link. And then that's where I'm able to mess with both of them and mess with the EQs when it comes to those as well, which is really nice. So that is basically the manual functionality in the app. And then we also have the mix down. So the mix down is once you have once you've done the recording and stuff like that, you could afterwards change the faders to be something different, and you could change your master volume and all that. And then what you do is you hit a mix down, and that will save and create a separate file of all the changes that you did, and it creates a whole new file, which is really cool. And then you have punch IO. So if you mess something up, or if you forgot about something, you could go in that where you messed up, you could record over your previous one, and then you can have that be saved as well, which is really cool. And then of course you have your recording guide, and then you have your browser, your browse functionality. So I'm able to create a whole new file. I could look at my previous files and the app that I was on when I was recording it, which is really cool. So now moving on into the next app, we are going to be messing with the voiceover one. So with the voiceover, you have phantom power on. You could hit no or yes. Here you have a whole different layout. It doesn't show you anything as far as decibel levels. It's a much cleaner scenario. And then here you are able to just click onto the microphone, and you could change the gain with your finger or with the actual wheel itself, which is really cool. And then you can see the decibel level. And then with the 3 lines, you have some other different features. So I could change my input level, of course. I could do input 3 and 4. We'll do 1 and 2 so that you guys could see how everything will be like. So you can see the levels, it's actually peaking, and the light indicator is enabling as well. And you can see how sensitive it is. I could change the gain, of course, if I want to, have it react fully. And then if we go to the input settings, here is the same concept, the same layout as we had in the manual functionality. I'm able to do auto gain if I want to. I can have it be a low gain, and then here I'm able to change all of the other sets. One thing to keep in mind of, it also tells you what you're recording at. So float 96, and you have dual recording off. And then here you could do the same thing, change your recording settings. I could do 192 if I want to. I could do 48, of course. And then I can enable dual recording if I want to, and it shows you the remaining that your SD has. And then you can see the previous ones, your previous file that you just record. And you can do the same thing in the manual functionality as well. You just click on the time, and then you're able to skim through your previous recording, and then you could go back and forward as well, which is really nice. But that's basically a much more simplified version of the manual. If you're just doing like voiceovers, you're just recording yourself, and you don't really care about the levels or anything like that, and you like more of a visual aspect if your volume is either too high or too low. So that's basically how everything is laid out for the voice app. The next one that I want to talk about is the field recording. So this is much more beneficial when you're out and about and you're recording multiple stuff and you're trying to create like Foley or stuff like that. So for example, here, this layout, you are able to mess with the gain like we did before. You are able to mess with the input settings, of course. I have it set to 3 and 4. When you have an external microphone, I have the three lines, and here I could change my input select. So let's say, for example, I do 1 and 2 again. You are able to hear the actual and see the actual volume and the gains and stuff like that. We talked about how before you have to have it at 96 kilohertz in order to add these EQs, and then here you have some dynamic presets. So I could do city, nature, vehicle, bird, and then here I'm able to enable the high gain or the low gain, which is really cool. Now the low cut filter is grayed out, and that is because we are at 192 kilohertz. If we go back, I believe it's 96 kilohertz. That gives me the ability to enable that. Let's go back to it. Yep. So now we are able to enable the low cut filter, and then you can see here that it's been enabled as well, and it's 120 kilohertz. So then I'm able to change the vehicle. I'm able to do city, and it gives me a rough idea what it's recommending. And I like that the pictures as well. I can do nature, do vehicle, of course, and I could do bird. So very simplified, and it still shows you if it's in stereo. It is going to be in a stereo when it comes to the field recording. It is not going to be mono, and you can't make it be mono unless you do it in post, of course, and that actually tells you in the launcher settings. So when you scroll to a field, it shows you over here that there is a stereo recording. Same thing when it comes to the voice. The voice does a mono mix recording. And then now we're going to be going to the ASMR. So ASMR, everybody knows it. You are recording in a stereo, so that is by default. And then you have a different layout where it's showing the left and right functionality. You are able to change the gain, of course. And then here you are able to do your input select like normal. And then as well as you're able to do your input settings. So the whole layout is very simplified. It's basically the same in all of the applications. The major thing that you're seeing is just how the interface looks like. And then same thing here in recording settings. I can have it be 96, 32, so on and so on. So then when you're doing stereo, you're able to see how the left is and how the right one is. So if I tap on the right, it's picking up more on the right side. If I tap on the left, and same thing here. And then you can change the sensitivity, of course, which is really nice. And now let's move over to the music functionality. So the music one is really cool because this one has the most different layout. I am able to change the band functionality, so I could be the dynamic preset. I could have it be a piano, acoustic guitar, vocal, wind instrument, stringed instrument, or band. So then I like how it shows a picture of it, which is really nice. And then you are also able to change the reverb. You are able to add reverb. You do a large hall, small hall, room, studio, plate 1 and 2. So, and it shows you a picture of that as well. Now keep in mind though, like I said before, reverb is not enabled. It is grayed out until I change my recording settings and I have it be 48 kilohertz. So in order to do reverb, it has to be at 48 kilohertz, and then that is where you are able to enable it and then change your levels as well. And then your input settings, same thing like normal. very basic, but that is really cool. That is something that took a while for me to figure out whether I need to have it be at 48, 96, or 192. So it had to be at 48 in order to enable reverb, and it's still going to be a stereo functionality as well. And so the next one that we have is the podcast functionality. So here we are able to record up to 4 people, and then we also have the sound pads. So now we are able to close that, and then you can see the layout of it. We got the home and the mixer functionality. This one is really cool because here I'm able to have 2 different sound pads, and I'm able to mess with what sound effect I want to add, and I can also add my own. And then I can have it be a stereo or a mono, and then I can also mess with if I want to hear the 3rd person or the 4th one, and then if I want to hear the pad as well. Here you can see I can mess with the master functionality. I can have it be a stereo or a mono functionality, which is really cool. And then here I'm able to right then and there mess with the faders of the A and the B pad. And if we go on the top right here, you're able to assign the A1 and have it be applause, brass, thinking, heartbeat, ding dong, wrong answer, or you could go to your SD card and put your own, which is really cool. And then you do a play method. You could do a latch, pause, replay, one shot, and repeat. And then same thing goes with the B as well, which is really cool. And then same thing when it comes to the microphones. If I hit the microphone, here's where I'm able to mess with it as well and add EQs and all that, which is really cool. And then keep in mind though that when you are doing podcasting, it automatically enables it at 48 kilohertz at 24-bit. So that is something that you cannot change. It just does a 48 kilohertz at 24-bit. You can't do 192 kilohertz. You can't do 32-bit float recording. You can do a dual recording and have it be float, but it's still gonna be 48 kilohertz. So you could do a 48 kilohertz at 32-bit recording technically in the dual recording functionality. So keep in mind of that as well. And then, you know, I'm able to do my input select, and I'm able to do input 3 and 4. I can have the next 2 people, and I can have a total of 4 people. And then I'm able to disable that stereo link, and then I can mess with 4 faders, and then I can also all be a mono functionality, and I can mess with the master. And then you can see that I can mess with the faders and all that. So while we're recording, I'm able to see how everybody sounds like, I'm able to hear how everybody sounds like, and I'm able to add sound effects in the middle of it as well, which is really cool. And then if I want to not hear somebody, I could disable that as well when I have my headphones in, which is very nice. So I really like how the podcast layout is. So the last major ones that I haven't really dealt with is the tuner functionality. So you're able to tune your instruments while checking the meter display with the chromatic mode. So I'm able to go into my tuner, and then you can see that this has a completely different layout. I'm able to do B3, C4. I could change the note as well, and then I could change the input, and I could change the volume. So let's say, for example, if I do C4, I could do a tap, and you'll hear in the speaker. And then I could go all the way down to, you know, a C3, and then I could go all the way up to a very high pitched tone, and let's say do a B5, and that one just gets really loud. And then I could also do a chromatic, and I could change the hertz all the way, going from 445 hertz going all the way down to 435 hertz. So that is really cool if you're getting really into it. I'm not so much into this, so I didn't touch this at all, unfortunately. So I can't tell you guys my opinions or my thoughts on it. And then we are able to do the input setting as well. And then lastly, the last thing that I didn't really mess with is the metronome functionality. So it gives you a pendulum display, and then you were able to do a beat as well. So I can have my tempo be at 130 and then do a start. And then I can have it be much higher, for example, 250. And then I could go all the way down, let's see, to 20. And then, of course, I am able to do the beats, how many beats I want. I could go all the way from 1 to 9, and then I could do a sound as well. I could do a click, I could do a stick, or I could do a bell. So then the stick sounds like this one. Let's raise this a little bit higher. And then as well, I could do a bell. So that is basically the metronome. Unfortunately, I haven't messed with this one as much as well. I messed with all the other ones. And then here I could do an SD card reader. So like I said, you could connect this to your computer and you could access it directly as an SD card reader, which is really nice. And then finally we have the browse functionality. So the browse, like I showed you guys a little bit earlier, you guys are able to see the recordings and then the app that I was using, which is really nice. So in the podcast functionality, I'm able to play it. I'm able to do file information. It's able to tell me the file. It's able to tell me the track that was enabled, and it's able to tell me the XRI. So if I do the 3, it tells me it was an external microphone. It tells me the gain that it was at, and the gain if it was a high or a low, and then the gain volume, which is really cool. And then of course I'm able to do a file delete, a track delete, change, protect, rename, mark, divide, normalize. So you can go really in depth, and you could create your own folders as well, which is really cool. And since this has like a little bit of an Android look to it, so the keyboard layout is very like a phone style, which is really nice. So I really like how this entire user interface makes it act like it's a phone and you're just messing with apps basically. And the majority of it is very similar, very much the same. I just like how the layout is different for each one of that. But now that we got the user interface of the PortaCapture XA all done, we are now able to do some sound tests. So now I'm going to be showing you guys some sound tests of multiple settings when it comes to using this recorder, and then you guys can let me know down in the comments below on how everything sounds like. Alright you guys, so now we are doing the first sound test. We got the PortaCapture X8 over here. We are doing a stereo functionality. We have it set to the manual, and we are doing an XY pattern, and this is the raw audio that you guys are hearing right now. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. We have it set to 192 kilohertz. We have it set to 32-bit float recording, and I tried to have the mic and the volume be around -12 to -18 decibel level, so it's not peaking or anything like that. I have it set to low, and then I also have it set to about 30 decibel levels. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. We are doing a stereo functionality, so like I said, X and Y pattern. So if I go over here, you guys should be hearing me more on your left side, I believe, and then if I go over here, then you guys should be hearing me more on your right side. So let me know what you guys think, and we're going to be switching it to be an A-B pattern, and we're going to see how that one sounds like. And like I said, this is the raw audio, so I'm not doing anything in post. I might be bringing up the decibel level, so I'll let you guys know in the timeline or in the description down below as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and let's switch over to the A-B pattern. Okay, you guys, so now you are hearing the A-B pattern setup. I didn't do anything else when it came to the settings. I just disconnected the microphones and then swapped them. So I still have it at 192 kilohertz. I have it at 32-bit float recording. I have it set to low and at around 30 decibel levels, and hopefully it's around -12, -18 decibel levels. But this is how it sounds like when it comes to the A-B pattern. So now it's a lot more picking up a wider range. So then it's much more stereo functionality. So you guys are hearing me more on the left side, and then same thing goes. You guys are hearing me more on the right side. This is really good when it comes to capturing the whole environment when you're out in the field, capturing stuff like that. And this is really good for ASMR, but we're going to be messing with that application in a minute as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as far as the audio goes, if it sounds really good, if it sounds natural. And then since this is set to 192 kilohertz, I don't have any of the EQs enabled. I have no limiter, I got no compressor, I got no low cut filter, nothing like that. So this is completely the raw audio functionality, but I will be doing tests on how it sounds like when it comes to having those EQs set up. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and let's move on to the next sound test. Alright you guys, so now we are messing with the ASMR setting. So I have it set to the ASMR, of course, and then I have it set to about 192 kilohertz, and I have it set to the 32-bit float recording. On top of that, I have it set to, of course, the A-B pattern. I think that'll be the best one when it comes to capturing ASMR settings. And we're going to be also doing a little bit of a sound test, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I have it set to the high gain, and then I also have it set to about 34 decibel levels. So hopefully the audio sounds pretty clean. I've never done ASMR, and this sounds very weird, so bear with me, but I do have some things to test out for those of you guys who are into ASMR and want to use the built-in microphones. So let me know what you guys think of the audio. Hopefully it's not too sensitive, so I don't know how to set it properly, but that's basically how it sounds like on the left side, and then this is how it sounds like on the right side. And this is how it just sounds like with the crinkling of my cloth. I have no idea if this sounds pleasant or not. I've never done ASMR. And then I also got like a lens cleaning, but if everything's sounding good. Hopefully it's not peaking or anything like that. But now I want to show you guys how it sounds like when we connect two external microphones and using it in an ASMR setting, because I know that a lot of creators also use external microphones and not just the microphones built into the recorder. So let's go ahead and try that one out. Alright you guys, so now we are doing an ASMR sound test but with two external microphones. So we got two Rode Pod mics over here. These I use for podcasting and voiceovers. And bear with me, I know that these stands are not equal level or anything like that. But we are doing a sound test, so I have them both hooked up to the recorder itself. I have it set to XLR. I don't have phantom power enabled because these are dynamic microphones, so they don't require any 48 volt phantom power. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of the audio. Same thing, 192 kilohertz, 32-bit float recording. I have the gain set to high, and I have it set to the maximum of 57 decibels. Since these are dynamic microphones, they're not that sensitive, so I do have to bring up the volume relatively high. So hopefully that the audio sounds clean when it comes to these. And so we have this one set to the right side, so you guys are able to hear right here. And if I get really close, you guys are only able to hear it on the right side, and I'm monitoring the audio. And then we have the left side here as well, so same thing. You guys should be able to hear it and monitor. And then we got the crinkling as well. I am not as ASMR at all, so this is completely new to me and it feels very weird, but for those of you guys that want to do ASMR and want a really nice recorder, I think this is a really good option because it gives you the option to use the built-in microphones as well as to connect external microphones to do a left and right stereo settings if you guys want really high quality settings and like get the best possible settings as well. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. And so now let's move on to the next sound test. Alright you guys, so now we are trying out the voice application, so let me know what you guys think of this audio down in the comments below. We got the Rode Pod mic right here with the microphone. I have it set to the XLR. I have it set to about 30 decibel levels in the low setting. So let me know what you guys think of the audio, and you guys are able to see if I'm peaking or not. And then I have it set to 192 kilohertz as well as the 32-bit float recording, so if anything I can always bring up the audio in post. And I don't have any of the EQs or anything set up. This is a dynamic microphone, so it does not require any phantom power, but we are going to be trying out a condenser microphone after this one to show you guys how that sounds like as well. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Hopefully it's not too quiet, but I will bring it up in post, so we'll see how that sounds like when I bring it up in post, if it still sounds clean or not. But yeah, this is how it sounds like in the voice. Very simple, very bare minimum, nothing too crazy. Alright you guys, so now we have a cardiac condenser microphone and we have the voice application enabled. I just swapped out the microphones, but this time we have the 48 volt phantom power enabled, and then on top of that the microphone is much more sensitive, so we had to bring down the gain to about 22 decibel levels. So let me know what you guys think of the audio down in the comments below. We have the 192 kilohertz as well as the 32-bit float recording, so let me know what you guys think of this audio, if it sounds pretty clean or not compared to a dynamic microphones, and then what you guys think of the overall audio. Sounds pretty good in the headphones, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Alright you guys, so now we are doing the podcast audio test, so let me know what you guys think of the audio down in the comments below. This one is actually very different because we have a cardiac condenser microphone, we have that 48 volt phantom power, but the major thing is when it comes to the podcast functionality, you are only able to record at 48 kilohertz and at 24-bit, so I can't do 192 or 96 kilohertz. I can't do 32-bit float recording, unfortunately. And then some of the things that I wanted to try out as well is using some of the EQ functionalities. So what you guys are hearing right now, I have the EQ set to voice. I also have a low cut filter of 220 Hz. I also have a limiter enabled. I have a noise gate set to low. So I really wanted to try all of it so that you guys can actually hear it and let me know what you guys think, how it sounds like, if it sounds pretty clean. I also have the gain set to low, and I have the decibel level set to about 25. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as far as this audio goes. I really like the podcast functionality because, like I said, you were able to connect up to 4 people, and then on top of that, you have 2 pads as well. I actually use this in one of my podcasts in episode 5 of the podcast with my co-host, and it's the Switch It Up podcast. I'll leave a link down in the description below so that you guys can go check it out. But then we were able to mess around with the audio, and then we were also able to mess with the pads. So like I said, the pad, we are able to do like pad A, Hopefully that wasn't too loud for you guys, but we were able to do applause, and then we got the pad B, which is a ding dong one, and you are able to mess with the presets that it comes with, as well as you were able to upload your own as well. So it doesn't have to be any sound effects or anything like that. It could be something like a sponsored thing in a podcast. So like when you click on it, it says this podcast sponsored by G Fuel. Use code TechHD to get 10% off any G Fuel product. That is a shameless plug. But yeah, so something like that, you don't have to use it just for sound effects. You can use it for something like that. But yeah, so this audio test isn't fully raw, but it is kind of because we are using all of the EQ functionalities built into the handheld recorder, and we're not doing anything in post. So it's kind of raw audio in a way. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the audio down in the comments below, and let's move on to the next sound test. Alright you guys, so now the next audio test that we're trying out is having the recorder connected directly to my camera and doing it like a vlog style. So I have my Lumix S5 set up with the handheld recorder, and then I have in the Lumix S5 I have it set to the lowest setting to -12 decibel level, and I have all the audio coming directly from the handheld recorder. I have the recorder set to the voice mode, and then I have the low gain, and then I have it set to about 17 decibel level. So let me know what you guys think of the audio down in the comments below. I have it set to 192 kilohertz as far as 32-bit float recording as well, and this is actually getting pretty heavy, so I don't know how it would be like for vlogging style, but if you want to do handheld recording and have all the audio go directly from the handheld recorder straight into the camera, you could do that as well, which is really nice. I don't want to do any type of outdoor audio test with this recorder doing a vlogging style because I don't have a furry windscreen, and on top of that, this is actually pretty heavy. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the audio down in the comments below, and then now let's try out another sound test. Now, I overall love the PortaCapture X8. It is a beast of a recorder and is jam-packed with features for all kinds of creators, from regular voiceover work, music creating, a podcaster, an ASMR artist, or someone that is out in the field recording some Foley. This recorder is great for all of that and more. I can capture at the highest quality, 32-bit float recording at 192 kHz in most cases, so I have a lot of flexibility to edit the audio and recover for any reason. I love the color touchscreen. It makes it easy to go through the menu like you're using a phone, and it's very responsive. There are a lot of features, so it does take some time to get used to understand everything and to know what it all means and where everything is. I had to look through the manual multiple times to figure out certain things like why I couldn't enable reverb or the limiter or the EQ, but after I got that figured out, it became pretty easy. Now, some of the key things that I love about the X8 is one, the cold shoe mount on the back of the recorder to give you the ability to attach an external microphone or a wireless receiver. You saw in the field audio test, I was able to attach my shotgun microphone to it and still walk around to capture some audio. I also really like the UI, and that is an app-like layout to organize everything and that it's not all crammed into one complex interface. You can easily choose what you're going to be recording and it'll have everything laid out to the best that fits your need. Like in the podcast, I love that there are 2 pads for sound effects and that it comes with presets, or you can even add your own. Or in the music app, you can add reverb and the type of room reverb like the studio style or large hall, and there's presets for the instrument you want to record as well. Now, there are only a few cons that I have, and one of them being the PortaCapture app to control the recorder with your iOS or Android device. It works great when I'm messing with the settings and the X8 is updating right away, but when I start to record, the app becomes sluggish and slow and lags a lot and is not responsive. So then after that, I can't really do anything. The app is still in beta, so they're still working on it, and this is also a pre-release model, so that could be a reason why as well. And so they're still working on it and getting it all ready for all of you guys. Overall, I think this is an amazing handheld recorder and offers a lot, and anyone that is using it will be extremely happy. But there you guys have it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please let me know down in the comments below, as well as everything will be linked down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so that you guys could be notified whenever I upload a new video. Follow me on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitch. As always, TechHD. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!